I've compiled a list of about 5 main principles that have gotten me where I am. I know how hard and complicated and confusing it can be, and so this video is just a little video. First off, to say you got this. Everyone goes through it, but I definitely, as somebody, I'm 24. But this is mainly aimed towards people in the age range of 18 to, mid-20s, early 20s. And these are some life lessons that I've learned navigating through my early 20s. It'll be different for everybody, but I've compiled a list of about 5 main principles that have gotten me where I am. And it seems to be, bulletproof when it comes to testing it out in the real world. The first main topic today is to have a destination. So what that means is setting goals, and I know you've probably heard this from other people too, set goals. I'm gonna tell you why it's so important to set goals. It's because when I came here, in this spot right now that I'm in, the first thing I had to do was know where to go. If you get in your car, you turn on your engine, you need to know where you're going. And this is the same with life. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna make a lot of wrong turns and you're gonna waste a lot of time. And for different people, where you're going it can be anywhere you want, but you need to know where you're going. And for me, that destination is gonna be different from where you're going, where your friends are going, where your parents were going. It's gonna be different, but the difference between two people, one of them who has a little bit of intention in terms of finding that out, and someone who doesn't, makes a very big difference in their outcome, their income. And as someone who's navigating it, I've been that person who didn't know really where I was going, nor did I care. And there was definitely a time where I didn't care because I was distracted, and that's definitely something that's very relevant in this day and time, especially with all these distractions. But you need to know where you're going. In terms of what I do, I have a goal board, and everybody who knows me and is close with me knows how much I value goals. But pretty much every year I set big goals, small goals, medium goals, the best way to do it, and you can find a lot of studies regarding this as well. But pretty much long-term goals, I usually set them for 5 years and a year. So we'll do goals for 5 years out, goals for 1 year out. Medium term, I would do 6 months and a month. And so those would be my two. And you also need small goals as well, or short-term goals. That could be this week, for the day. And it might sound like it's a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. And you can do this in many ways. Some people use planners, some people use calendars. My Google Calendar I live and die by that thing. I can't survive without it. It's something that really, I would say, and again, success is very relative, but if there's any success that I've had in this, up until this point in my life, it's probably because I set goals and I was able to execute upon them. And so that's where I'm gonna put a lot of my focus. That's kind of been my bread and butter. That's how I've been able to accomplish anything in my life. It's pretty much by setting goals. The second one is choose good teammates. What that means is be very intentional with who you surround yourselves with. And this is something that I've learned the hard way. I've also learned how important it is through good people, also bad people. But you can think of it, I play a lot of games, I play League, and Summoner's Rift is your world, right? You have 4 other teammates. For some people, these are your people who you're going to be stuck with for that game, which means that part of your life, they're going to be around you. And the outcome of that game or that part of your life is heavily determined by what you do, but also by what they do, because people are very emotional. I included am very emotional, and one of the biggest blessings I have are the people around me, but also some of the biggest downfalls for me have also been who I've surrounded myself with. And as someone in your early 20s, this is very important because, this is something that doesn't stop. Like there are people, going through this at different parts of their life, but wanting to please people, wanting to make people happy who later on you realize do not matter to you. Or, this is also very important, but pretty much not being there for people who you realize were there for you and care about you and love you. And so there's two sides of the coin, but this is very important, very, very important. As much as the first one, how fast you get to that goal is really going to also be determined by who your team's with. You know, in the business that I'm in, we have a big team of 20, and I can work my ass off, but also at the end of the day, revenue is determined by how well the 20 of us work together and get there together. And so that's also very, very similar in life. And so, you know, getting out of high school, you're kind of figuring out who your actual friends are, and then you get to college, you meet some new people, and life will test you a lot. They'll throw these kind of people at you, they'll throw these people, and it is your job, and I know it's hard, but it's your job to filter out who's there for you and who isn't. And it's also your job to be there for the people who matter, you know. And I'm not objectifying people here, but there are friendships that are tiered, you know, let's say diamond, gold, silver, and bronze. There's going to be a mix of them thrown at you, and it is your job to figure out which ones are gold, which ones are diamond, and which ones are bronze. And that's the difficult part. But you know, and you also should figure out where you are. Who are you as a person? This is something that, you know, self-improvement is very important, because it's very important because if you yourself, you know, don't treat people well, take people for granted, it's very impractical and unrealistic to expect diamonds and gold friendships to show up if you're not pulling your part. Diamond friendships comes when one person with characteristics of a diamond meet another person, and they value each other, they respect each other, and that's where the beauty happens. And so figuring out how you can better yourself, and also finding people with common goals and who are also making an effort to make themselves better, make the people around you better, all of that together is very important as well. And so life is a group game. Life is a group activity. It's not an individual game. You can get far by yourself, but you can get way farther with the right team. And so that's definitely something I've learned. Number 3. I'm not going to say that effort means everything. There's definitely people who are born with different strengths. Life is a little bit unrealistic in that if the world values your strengths as more valuable than somebody else's, then you will have a better life, and that's true. But what you can do is, and this is kind of, you know, it's about figuring it out as well. And in terms of how to figure these out, that's something I'm working on as well. But pretty much, all you can do is make sure that you're putting in your 100% for every day. And I say this because, you know, if you're making a pyramid, the first thing you have to do is put that first step. And that first step is the hardest because you don't know where you're going. And just like, you know, circling back to making your destinations and setting goals, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, but the only way you're going to get there in 5 years is if you start small and you take one step at a time. This is something that's been studied all over the world. It's what people I look up to talk about a lot. But pretty much making sure that every day counts. Just because you don't get something out of it that day doesn't mean there's no meaning into it. There's a lot of meaning in every single decision that you make, every single thought that you have. That's kind of what's scary as well, where you're curating yourself. This is about you and your navigation through your life is really determined by where you put your value in, and the decisions you make that shapes who you are as a person. And let's say in 60 years, 70 years you die, and you look down, every decision, you're molding yourself in clay. You're molding your personality, you're molding your character, you're molding your reputation. Yes, there are external factors, but 99% of your character, personality, and how you fit into this world is determined by you and your own self. And it's a good thing as well, because that means you're in control. Every single decision you make, starting from this morning to tomorrow night, it will have an effect on who you are as a person, and that's something that no one can take away. But also, it takes a lot of hard work and grit. It's definitely, you know, it's easy to slack on one thing, and I'm a big believer that behaviors compound, and they don't compound linearly. It's more exponential. And so, you know, let's say for example going to the gym, the first couple times are the hardest, but if you've been going for 5 years, it's that much more easier. It's easier to take that next step if you look back and there's 20 steps behind you, and you know how you've done it. And so that's pretty much very, very important. For number 4, I'm gonna put number 4 as finding what you like. And when I mean what you like, it's not about what makes you, it's not about fun, it's more about what makes you happy as a person and what fills your soul. And this is a long-term goal. This is probably the longest term goal that we have as people. It's gonna be the reason why you are alive is to figure out what fills your soul. And like I said, for different people it's very different, but you know, you'll be in a lot of things, a lot of different puzzle pieces are working together. This is something that while you're taking your steps, while you're making goals, and while you're navigating through life, things will pull at you that are like no other. And so all the other things will be surface level, but there will be things, and for different people it's different. Like I said, this video is a very subjective video. It will pull at you, and it is your job, when you feel that, to don't let that go, because it doesn't come a lot. It's definitely something that, you know, I've seen components of it, but I'm hoping that I see more of it, because that's what's really going to give your life value, is when you find something that really speaks to you, speaks to your heart, speaks to your brain, speaks to your loins, and you're able to capitalize on that. That's what success is. That's pretty much what success is. Because, and you know, you've heard it everywhere. I've heard this all the time, but pretty much it doesn't matter how much money you make. Nothing will fill you. It doesn't matter the people. If you're a guy, it doesn't matter the girls in your life, the girl. You need to fill yourself. Pause. You need to have meaning before you can give it to other people. And there cannot be a successful relationship if either side of a relationship does not find meaning. You can find that in each other. If you have a hole in your soul, you're gonna be trying to fill it with the other person, and that's, okay, pause again. It's very taxing, and a lot of people get divorced because of this. If you lose sight of your own goals and your own journey, and you try to, you know, you sabotage another person's by making them about you, that's not a successful path to success. Anyways, I'm gonna be talking more about this. This is definitely where I'm gonna end this video. I said 5 in the beginning. I think I ended with 4, but I want to definitely finish with some words of encouragement as somebody who's also lost a lot. And part of this journey, part of recording, is figuring out what makes me happy. I love helping people, and I know that it's very hard to navigate. Just got out of my early 20s. My birthday was like a month ago, and I'm navigating my mid-20s. I'm 24. I'm gonna be 25 soon. I feel old as hell, and I know, you know, old people are gonna get upset by that, but I'm definitely not a kid anymore. So there's more responsibilities. I have bigger goals. I have bigger career goals. I have bigger goals in terms of relationships, in terms of my family, and you know, it's definitely a juggling act, but you know, that's what gives your life meaning, trying to do all of these things. And that's what people are made for. That's why Christopher Columbus, I know he's canceled, but you know, in the form of when he set sail, you know, that's what called to him. You know, when we went to the moon, that's what called to us. Like, this is what gives your life meaning, figuring out what you like and what is the best for you, and the fact that nobody else can do it for you. It really doesn't matter of what it looks like from the outside, because inside, this is what matters. They don't find something in here, and when the world sees you and thinks, you know, you have everything and you don't, that's a very dark place that takes you. And you know, it's definitely not good. But anyways, you got this. It's about self-fulfillment, and you don't get that by just making yourself happy. It's by making the people around you happy, by having a bigger purpose. And I really wish that you guys can get something out of this video. It's raining here in LA. It's absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to put this out there, because whoever you are, if you're in your early 20s, you got this. This is a wonderful time to be alive. I know there's hardships for everybody, but what I can say is, number 1, set goals. Number 2, be very careful of who you surround yourself with. Number 3, strive for perfection. realize that every single day matters, every decision matters, and that's gonna help you become a better person and give you a better life. Thank you.